Welcome back to Legacy Politics. We have a guest on the show today, and his name is Trellis Williams. Trellis, welcome.
Thank you very much, man. I'm very glad to be here for
So,
sure.
just to start off, how did you find the channel, and do you like the channel?
Oh man, I love the channel, man. But I found out about the channel by I already knew you, of course, already from the homeschool basketball scene, you know knew who you were. I saw your Instagram profile, and you were promoting your channel. You had just started it, I think, and you had the link on there. I was like, man, I got to check out his stuff, because I do some YouTube stuff myself. And so when I checked it out, I was like, man, I like this. I like this. And so I subscribed. So, man, look, man, I don't want to toot my own horn and stuff, but I think I was on there pretty early. I think I was one of the first, 20 or 30 on
Yeah,
there.
for sure. You've been there. You've been one of the few supporters who've been watching me ever since we started this fiasco back, or this thing back in back in August. So just so people can kind of get to know you, why don't you give us your college, what year you are, and your political philosophy?
Yeah, man. So I'm Trellis Williams. I go to Mississippi College in Clinton, Mississippi, and I actually play basketball there and stuff. But yeah, I'm a sophomore in college. But when you're playing basketball, you have a year as well. I redshirted and stuff. So I'm a freshman, but I'm really a sophomore in college. So yeah, I'm a sophomore, but yeah, political philosophy, man. Really, I'm very interested in liberty, very interested in personal freedom, and
Right.
economic freedom. Um, but but I feel like I'm into freedom, but when it sometimes like, for instance, if you take abortion, for instance, I'm definitely pro-life. You know what I mean? But I actually have a liberty perspective on that too, because I don't think you can protect liberty without protecting the life of the unborn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the thing is that my mother, she was adopted, and her birth mother was 15 when she was born.
Wow.
So and abortion was like, this is this is I don't, I hope I'm not making her upset by giving away her age, but this is like 1975. You know what I mean? So this is after this is after Roe v. Wade and stuff like that. So it
Right.
was that could have happened. I'm glad that her birth mother made the right decision on that one. So that's really personal to me and my family. But really, I like I and then another thing too is I like for foreign policy, I like non-interventionism. You
Right.
know,
Hmm.
focusing on our country, not
Yep.
focusing on
Yep.
all the other countries around. So that's basically it. But I'm a Christian, so that's, of course, number one, as you know, and as you are yourself. But so that's really it right there.
Yeah, and just like you said, non-intervention. That is the thing that we strive for. America first. That is our the goal. So you said you were in college and you're sophomore, and you follow me, you follow other political science, I'm sure. So why is that so important? Why is it important, especially in this day and age, to understand the political world we live in, and to be firm on what you believe or how you see the political system? Why is it important to be firm in that?
Well, I believe it's important because it's good to follow this stuff, because you know that there are people that disagree with you, that are working against what you're interested in, that are focusing on it as well. So that's
Yeah.
one thing. You know what I mean? So you won't. And it's not important. I wouldn't say it's important for every single person to care about it a whole lot. And you know, I would actually say that it's not important for every single person, but I think it's important for a good amount of people to, you know, to stand up for what they believe in, you know what I mean, with voting. And if you're interested enough, if you're running or something. But yeah, I think it's important to know as a Christian as well, because
Right.
there's some issues that are just, they're really important. I mean,
Absolutely.
just morally, they're just really important. And I just don't think I don't think if you can, I don't think you should just be like, ah, whatever, I don't care,
Right.
you know. But I guess, it depends on what situation you're in, of course, because I don't think everybody should be out there, in the streets and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think they're different roles for different people, but I do think it's important to, be knowledgeable in general, so that at least if you're voting, to know what the reason why you're voting, and why you're interested in voting for a particular candidate.
That's an important distinction to know why you're voting for the candidate. And like you said, you don't need to be like, oh, well, maybe that sounds good, But the problem is with our society, a lot of people are like that. And that's what's
Yeah.
sad. And that's why pretty much I started this channel. I wanted to get the truth out. And that's why it's very important to know what we're fighting against. And like you said, me and you are both devout Christians, and so we have beliefs that we may not agree with what the politician does on a day by day basis, but if he defends our beliefs, that's the most important thing to us, right? So
Mm,
that's something that's very important, and it's also very important to know about the political world, because if you just brush it off and pretend like it doesn't matter, it's going to hit you in the face. I mean, even with this past election we went through, I mean, two completely different views of America, right? I mean, you have one
yeah.
one side who wants to support all the things that you just mentioned, America first, wants to support the life, the sanctity of life. And then you have another side who doesn't want to support that. They want to have people have the right to choose what they want, and they want to have a different foreign policy than one side. So it is very important to know exactly who you're voting for. That's exactly right. And I want to talk a little bit more about your faith and why that's important. So, in your opinion, why is it so important? Or rather, we could have a twofold question. But the first question I want to know is what do you think the church's role in government should be?
Yeah, so that's interesting. The church's role in government, because you know, I don't know if you. I think that might have been your second part of the question, but I
Right.
think there are two things, like the church's part or the Christian's part.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now the church's part, because we know by history, like the Middle Ages in Europe, where the Catholic Church was dominating the governments and stuff. And
Sure.
that wasn't really the best system. I mean, how we live in America is I would say would be definitely a lot better than how those countries were run at that time. I mean,
Hmm.
of course, I think that there was a lot more corruption too. It's not
It's fair.
pure. It's not pure. It wasn't pure doctrine or anything that was ruling those countries. It was central leadership. So,
That's right.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, if you go to Christians' role in government, now me personally, I want all the politicians that I vote for to be Christian. Really, when it comes down to it, I
Is
mean,
that an essential thing for you to vote for them?
well, I wouldn't say that there's no way I'd vote for somebody if they weren't Christian, but I wouldn't be that excited about voting for
Right.
somebody that wasn't Christian. I mean, and it might be such non-excitement that I don't vote for them. Like, that, you know, because really, like, if you're talking about the pro-life issue, every politician I vote for has to be pro-life. That's
Okay.
actually something I have to. It has to be the case.
Right.
But with them being a Christian now, they're not. I'm whoever I'm voting for. I'm not submitting to them, uh, like worshiping them or acting like that they're above me in some kind of um spiritual situation. That's not the case. So it's not needed. It's not like a pastor. It's not needed
Right. Right.
uh
That's exactly
a-
right.
as
Um,
much. But I'd always prefer a Christian. I'd always prefer a Christian. So
well,
so yeah.
yeah, I've always heard it said, we're not electing a pastor, we're electing a president, right?
Yeah.
But that president is we're electing him so
Yeah.
he can defend what we believe in, That's your
Yes.
number one reason why you're electing him. You may not agree with his tweets, or
Yeah.
other stuff like that, but if he's going to sit there and defend your Christian values, then that's the person we're called on biblically to vote for. And that's very important to note, what the church's role and what the Christian role in government is. I mean, and I think that it's kind of verged away from that. I think the church has actually verged away from voting for and I don't know how much we want to talk about this, but verged away from voting for the people who will defend their values, and rather vote for the vote for the person who thinks everything's okay, you can do whatever you want or whatever. And I think it has diverted to that in some instances, not all instances, not here
Yeah.
really in the South, but in a lot of other places
Mm.
that has gone to that. Well, I want to talk a little bit about President Trump. He's been in office for 4 years, and his term is coming to an end next week. So I just want to know your view on his term in office. What did you think? What do you think about his term? Do you think he did it? Do you approve his term? And some stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely going to answer that question. One last thing about the Christian's role is that another thing though is like take the church for instance. Now this might not be in government as much, but I think that the church is the one that needs to be taking care of the people. You know what I mean? I would say it's better when the church is taking care of the people instead of like the government and welfare programs. You know what I mean? As
Yeah.
long as it's not corrupted, of course. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
if you're talking about biblical people that are following the Lord and stuff, if they're trying to take care of people as a church, then it wouldn't be corrupted if they're following. You know, I just think that's better than like a welfare program. So I was just finishing that one. But your next
Yeah.
question was talking about Trump. Well, it's interesting because when he got elected, I wasn't sitting there like, oh, I actually wasn't as focused on that as much. I wasn't really focused on the political scene as much.
Hmm.
But at that time, I was not interested in Hillary Clinton, of course. But uh, I was just like, didn't didn't really work. It wasn't really just thinking about it or worried about it as much. When Trump won, I was like, oh, hey, well, at least Hillary Clinton didn't win, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sitting there
Yeah.
thinking that much. I wasn't thinking that much about it. But as really, I thought he did a fine job as president for sure. Because another thing too is that I'm not a big fan of like the deep state and the people that have been in government for all these years and stuff. And so it was good to have an outsider, be up in there and also was something that he was wanting to do. He had ideas of what he wanted to do, and he went out for him. And then he was able to get some support from the Republicans in the House and the Senate and stuff like that. So it was definitely good. I liked the focusing on American
Yeah.
stuff, like the
America
America
first.
first,
Yeah.
America first thing, and then also I think if I'm not mistaken, I think he was the first president like since Nixon to not start a new conflict. Like to not start a new. I mean, that of course
Right.
that's
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
of those things that I guess people could fact check. You know what I mean? But
I'll probably get another email from YouTube or something.
no, I'm not trying to get you banned, man. I'm
No,
not,
no, no,
doing
no.
my
It's fine.
stuff.
I'm joking. I'm
That's
joking. I'm
me.
joking.
That's me. no, but no, but no, yeah, I think it was good, and I was hoping he'd win this time, and you know, it is what it is,
Yeah.
So, and but the thing is, I don't feel like it's one of those things where it's like a life or death situation and stuff. At least I hope not. At least I hope not. That's really what it is. I'm not going. I'm not going to just try not to stress about it too much. You know what I mean, but when it comes down to voting next time and stuff, try to see what candidate you want to vote for the next time. But I'll tell you this though, he's definitely the funniest president in history.
Yeah. 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 He's
No
pretty good.
man,
Yeah. Well,
man,
like you said, I mean, I think you said that you didn't expect him to win, but you just thought at least it's not Hillary. And I
yeah,
think that a lot of people thought that they were said, well, it's the lesser of two evils. And then you saw him just take all the heat from the media, from the
yeah,
from the from the Senate, from the Senate Democrats, from the House Republican Democrats. You saw him take all that heat, and he didn't have to do this job. He didn't have to do it. He
yeah,
didn't like it. It wasn't a requirement. He did it because he wanted to rebuild this country. And I mean, he donated all of his salary back to the country. He didn't take a single penny from doing this. And like you said, I think over time people got more and more like, okay, this is our guy. And like you said, okay, I really want him to win in 2020. Whereas
Mhm.
2016, even though you weren't that much into politics, you just had, well, at least it's not Hillary, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's a good thing to transition, or not to transition, but just to show how not a lot of people knew Donald Trump. That's just to proves that not a lot of people knew what he was going to do, and that's why he was an outsider. He came in and he won the presidency, and he took the most heat from I've ever seen from a presidency in my life. And he still fought through it, and it's coming to an end. Since it's coming to an end, let's talk about the new administration, President-elect Biden with Kamala Harris. So you said that it's not a life and death situation to you. So why is it not a life and death situation to you?
Really, really, the thing is, I sure hope it's not a life and death situation, of course. but but I'm not. I'm gonna try not to, stress about it. Try to focus on, my life and my day to day and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Of course, I'll be paying attention, to what's going on, and I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna be for them when they run for reelection. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how it is. And first thing, the abortion issue. That's that's a big thing. They're not see, and there's another difference. They're not even like pro-choice. I mean, it
No,
seems like they're
no.
pro-abortion. Like they're about it. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah,
want.
I mean, Kamala Harris literally said that she wants abortion up to crowning. So
Yeah, yeah. So see, yeah. I'm very much not into that, and I mean, really, that issue by itself would make me be like, yeah, no. But there are other issues. There are other issues too. I mean, and also another thing too is that just like when Trump got in and it was like this outsider and stuff. There were some things that were like when he picked John Bolton to be his national security advisor. I mean, he says that was a mistake, and
yeah,
and I would
yeah.
I would totally believe that it was. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? But see, like those kind of people will be all around Joe Biden, and that'll be what it is. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a throwback. But the reason with Joe Biden though that I'm not as worried is like if it was like maybe somebody like Bernie Sanders, like somebody who's like totally like getting to the more to the communist side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I Joe Biden. I don't really think he's trying to have government control everything. You know what I mean? And so
Well,
so
I mean,
I
I don't
hope not
I,
at
I
least.
don't think he is. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
like if it was like Biden and Susan Rice or something like that, then
yeah,
it'd be kind of like, well, okay. I mean, we survive until the midterms where we can maybe retake the House? Sure, maybe. But since like Kamala Harris is your vice president and now she can break any tie in the Senate,
yeah, yeah.
she's going to pass gun control laws, mass amnesty, abortion at the crowning, illegal immigrants have the right to health care, have the right to vote. I mean, it's just going to be hard for Republicans to win again. I mean, it really just is. And especially like we saw in Georgia, the Senate runoffs, people just don't go out to vote unless Trump's on the ballot. And I think that's the fault of the Republican establishment. That's their fault. And I mean, nobody can tell me it isn't.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed your answers. Now I think we have a few minutes left. So
Oh yeah.
I want to give you an opportunity to ask me some questions because it's kind of like a live radio show sort of thing.
Oh
So if
yeah.
you have any questions for me to answer, I'd be willing to answer them. We can go for a few more minutes here.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. So talking about this last part, talking about Joe Biden's administration and stuff. With Kamala Harris, I really, I, I don't know. It's like I think she's one of those people that whoever's in front of her, if they're interested in this, she'll veer that way talking, and she'll act like she's all about it, and she's like an activist and she's about it. And then the next people that she's in front of, it's like, oh no, anyway, that what I was saying before. So I don't. It's just hard to even get a read on her. I just know that I wasn't for her. That's really all I knew, about. But what are you thinking that her her vice presidency would be like? What do you think she's going to be pushing for in particular? I think you already mentioned some of it, but
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's gonna be. I don't know. I don't really see Biden really running anything. But I don't know that it's going to be Kamala Harris who runs stuff. No, I think she's going to be a part of the stuff they run, and I really do think she's the most far left senator that we have. And I don't think she's as far as Bernie, like you were saying, but she definitely is way further left than Biden is. As far as what a vice presidency would look like, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know even what a Pence vice presidency really looked like because like
yeah,
all we heard about was Trump. Like, what did
yeah,
Pence even do? I mean,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
besides defend what President Trump did, I'm not saying he didn't do anything. Obviously, I'm just saying,
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't think we're going to hear that much. Now we could because the media is going to make it sound like
Mm.
it's crazy, but now we could. But I think you're gonna have more of the bad stuff happening from the Senate because she's gonna be the tiebreaker. So, like I was saying a minute ago, gun control laws, mass amnesty, illegal immigrants having the right to health care, voting, stuff like that, and that's why Republicans have to hold the fort. We gotta make sure everybody's behind our backs, and we gotta retake the House in 2022
Yeah,
and
now,
the Senate.
yeah, okay. Well, see, now with the whole breaking the tie thing in the Senate and stuff, I know it's a 50-50 and then the uh Harris breaking the tie, but some of those things that they were talking about, like with uh the adding giving DC statehood and
Yeah,
Puerto Rico, and then there was what the other thing, oh, expanding the Supreme Court and stuff.
yeah, packing
They
the
will,
court.
yeah, they wouldn't be able to. I don't think they'd be able to do that though, since they have the guy Manchin who's in West Virginia. He was saying that he wasn't interested in doing that stuff, and he's a Democrat.
Yeah,
And
and
so,
it is important to note for the statehood stuff. I think that it
yeah,
takes a congressional acceptance, basically. So, like,
yeah,
pretty much, I think it's like 2/3 of the states have to agree to having another state come in. I think that's constitutional, and I could be wrong. So, I don't think that that could happen.
seems like it
As
should be.
far as what?
I said it seems like it should be. It shouldn't be like
Yeah.
a
Oh,
just a
yeah.
simple
Yeah.
majority to add
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
state.
I agree with that. Yeah, and I for sure it has to have 2/3 majority in the Senate. I'm pretty sure. So,
Yeah.
as far as court packing, Um, I know it is a majority to take a senator through because Amy Coney Barrett got the majority vote and she went through. So, um,
Oh, oh yeah. To now to yeah, when a nominee for the court comes up, yeah, they just all they need is a majority. What I'm talking about is I'm talking about expanding 9 to 15. That's what they were talking about.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it does take a 2/3, but and yeah, I'm pretty
Well,
sure it takes a 2/3.
okay, well, see, then that brings up a question to me. Why were they talking about that so much, though? The court packing and the statehood stuff, because that's what I when the whole thing with the Senate and stuff happened and the president and stuff, I was thinking, that's uh, you know, we're not really worried about like because the whole Supreme Court to 15, I was thinking that would be pretty rough. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be good at all. You know what I
Jeez.
mean?
Yeah.
So but if that's not happening, hopefully it'll just be kind of a. I mean, it might be rough, but it might be like kind of a smooth 2 years or so, and then it'd be 2 more years. And I'm just kind of hoping nothing much happens. Like it's just kind of like, hopefully the COVID stuff ends. That's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping.
We
But
haven't even talked about COVID yet.
yeah, that's what I hope they're not worried about that anymore. But I'm just really just kind of hoping that like wars don't start and stuff like that. That's stuff that would really affect us, like
For sure.
immediately affect
Hmm.
us as if like war started. You know what I mean? So I'm not. I just hope that doesn't happen. Praying that doesn't happen. But
Yeah.
you know.
All right. Well, I believe is that. Do you have if you have any more questions, we can get to maybe one more. If you have one more question.
Oh okay. Something I was going to ask. Oh, okay. So okay. I know you've talked about this kind of stuff on here, but you also talk about detailed things about races and stuff.
Mhm.
About elections and stuff. So what did you feel about Donald Trump's term? What'd you feel?
Oh yeah, I mean, I thought he did a superb a superb a superb job. I mean, for being an outsider, I mean, and I think it's been a lot where we've always needed a businessman running this country because I'm a capitalist and I believe in America first, and he supported that. He's brought the troops home. He's had built the greatest economy we've ever seen, and he just did so much for this country. And I mean, he's one of the best presidents I've ever seen. I mean, I've done an extensive review on all presidents. Him and and Theodore Roosevelt was good, but there was another one. I always just forget names. But anyway,
Calvin Coolidge is one of my
Calvin
favorites.
Coolidge. That's exactly what it was. Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
okay, yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about. Yes,
Mm,
Calvin Coolidge and Donald Trump, one of the two best presidents. Donald Trump for sure is one of the best. And and unlike a lot of people, I liked Donald Trump from the very beginning. There's a lot of
okay.
people who said, da 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 da. But I remember watching the first Republican presidential debate in 2015, and we were watching it, and I looked at my dad and I said, Donald Trump's going to win the presidency, and he said, "There's absolutely no way." And look what happened. So from the very first president, because I knew that that's what it would take to beat Hillary Clinton, someone who was an outsider and someone who was a businessman who could win those blue collar workers in the Rust Belt, and
Yeah,
and I figured Biden could have win those people back, but I didn't think. I thought if he did, it would be more of a wider gap than it was because in most of the swing states it was within 10,000 votes, which we won't get into the election, but
yeah, yeah. Of
um
course.
so that's something I said. And for one thing, one more thing, that Donald Trump once again did not take a salary. He didn't have to do this, and I think that speaks a lot to how much of a patriot that man is. So
Yeah,
we just thank our president and we look forward to seeing him in future years if he intends on running again or he intends on not. And we look ahead to a Biden administration.
yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. So and so if you're talking about if you take my political knowledge in my life, the first thing I was paying attention to was when in 2012.
Hmm.
It really 2007, but mainly 2012 was the one, and it was when Ron Paul was running in the primaries. I don't know,
Yeah,
of course that's Rand Paul's dad, but he was like the libertarian guy,
right.
but not Libertarian Party, because Libertarian Party is pro-choice. And so I'm not into the Libertarian Party stuff, but no, he's a libertarian. So that, and I saw how the primaries went, and they seemed a little crooked how they were run, the primaries. So I knew that for the establishment not to be a fan, and for you to win that primary, you had to really hammer everybody.
Right. That's
And so
exactly right.
that's what Trump did in the primaries. He really beat the mess out of everybody, and so it's
That's
just kind
right.
of like, they had to do it
Yeah.
at that point. So you know,
All right. Well, Trellis, thank you so much for coming on. If you want to plug your broadcasting network, you can go
oh
ahead and do
yeah,
that.
man, look. So first thing I would want y'all to check out the Byram Films channel. That's my comedy channel. So I make comedy videos. I make some sitcoms, but I make short videos as well, which I'm about to be posting on a more normal basis there. And then my Instagram's at True Byramian. True Byramian. BYRAMIAN. True Byramian. That's my Instagram handle. And then
I'll link your
I've,
Instagram and your YouTube down below.
yep. So man, look, I appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on for sure.
Thank you, Trellis. Have a good day.
Oh yeah, man, you too.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see y'all next week. And once again, just subscribe if you haven't already. Follow my Twitter. Follow my Instagram at Legacy Politics. And we will see you guys next week. I just want to say one thing. Today is January 11th, and I am a big Ohio State fan. If you don't know, and I'm just gonna wish my Bucks good luck tonight. So, thank you, Trellis, and we'll see y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you.